Okay, so apologies for that hiccup. So we are just going to proceed from what we were doing or from where we left off a few minutes ago. So we were now adding, okay. So we were adding the before property so that we can be able to add content inside our HTML element through CSS. So that is what we are going to do. So we have already added the HTML tag, and the HTML tag that we have used is the line tag. So if I come here, I have used not the HTML tag, but the class that we have given our HTML element is line. So I am just going to continue now typing that. So line, this is where the video just unexpectedly ended. So before, so now what we are going to do is we are going to say content to be or. However, because we do not want our content to just appear right before the line, like so, we want it to actually be somewhere in the middle. We have to continue now and position it. So now this is where also positioning comes ahead. So remember we said about position absolute, we said it positions it outside the element, outside the normal document flow, and it's based on what you set the time relative to its ancestors. So we have an ancestor here, and we want to make sure that we position it relative to that. So to position it now, I'll go ahead and say top to be 50%. And I'm going to say left to be 50%. So maybe before I add left, let me just remove it so you can see the distinction as each of the properties is getting added. So wait, is there something I have written wrongly? Oh, okay, I know why. So we have just added it. We have not seen a lot of change. So let us go ahead and say left 50%. Let me just make sure it's setting at the same line. I will refresh this now. So we can see it is now showing it's at the center, but it's still on top of the line. We want it to be in between the line as so. So let us see how we are going to make that possible. So we have now added the left. It has allowed us to move to the left 50%. So we are now going to say transform. I think maybe I should explain this, what this means, and translate this to negative 50%, comma, negative 50%. So what now that does is, if we look at it, yes, somebody has called out my name. Yes, I hope you have been able to find yourself. So by adding that translate, negative 50% and negative 50%, we are able now to get the word or on top of the line. Yeah. So let us see, what does translate and transform do for us? What does it actually do for us? So I'll come here and write transform. Transform. And yeah, perfect. So there are multiple values that you can use for transform. I won't get into them. I will just immediately go to the transform translate. So you can see this one has been, if I scroll down, which is what we are using, you can see there's so many values that I don't want to get into them just in respect of time. Just a minute. Oh, okay. So let me look at it. Yeah. Are we supposed to? Yeah. Yes, you're supposed to be coding, but first you should just watch, and then after the class, you can go ahead and just code. So that's also on your end. You have this project. So that is why I wanted to upload it on YouTube so that you can be able to do it yourselves even after class. Okay, I think even for them, they did not go ahead in explaining so much, but it is used to just be able, when we write translate, it allows us to be able to position the elements on different places. So if I come here and put the value that we have, negative 50%, and here, so negative 50%, you can see it goes to the left bottom, and I put here negative 50, it goes now to the top bottom. I mean, to the top left. So in both areas it sticks to the top, but remember, for this, the reason why it's behaving like this is because it is not put as position absolute, so that is why it will look a little bit different. So for example, if I put it as, let us try 25, I want to put it in the middle to try and get it to the middle. So if I move it a little bit, if I remove it completely, it stays roughly in the middle. So we can just remove that. So 25, what about 20? Not yet. Let me try 15. Okay. So 10. Yes. So we can have it somewhere there. So yesterday I was coding a different code. No, this is a continuation of yesterday. So you what we had is we did up to this point. I have added a few things, so that is just now what we are continuing. So it's literally a continuation of what we did yesterday. So yes, so transform, translate. So now I'm going to add a background color to it. So just add a background color. And then I'll say, so also, if you are here yesterday, then it's just a continuation of that. Okay, there is something that has happened. I had to, the other live stream ended unexpectedly. So we have two videos for today. One where I have added some spacing here and the forgot password, and also we have added the don't have the account. So in this video, it's now starting on this line, styling it and also adding the or. So you will just combine the knowledge on those two videos. You should be able to do the right thing. So let us also add the color. So remember, I have not cramped these colors. It's just that I had to have done it before. So now you can see the background color. There is a background color. It looks a little bit off. Wait, what have I done? I've added color. And I've added a background color. Oh, it's this background color. This is not the code. We want the background color to be the same as what we have for the form. So that is not the code. It should be, yeah, this one. So let me refresh. Yeah, so you can see, because we have added some small background and now added the color also of the text, it now looks a little bit different, but we need some space. We need some space between, let me just zoom out. We need some space on this element of ours. So let me add some spacing here, and to add space around an element, we normally use padding. So I'll come here and I will say I will add padding, and I'll say the padding to be 15 px. So if now we look at it and we refresh it, we can see now there is some space actually, and now we have been able to add there the space. It almost looks similar to what we had here. So yeah, so that is how you do it. So the next thing I want us to add is this button, the login, and the login with Google. So let me go ahead and add that. So I'll come back here. Oh, first I'll start with the structure. I'll start with the HTML. So let me just inform. So in the HTML, we are now going to go back to our and add our form and add another div, just for us to be able to enclose those images and that text properly in its own div. So make sure you're still inside the form. So I'll go ahead and type, I'll go ahead now and type div. Oh, you're coding. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, just continue coding. So write div class is equals to, I'll write media options. And then write a href. So remember, whenever you see the ahref, that means we are adding a link. But currently, we don't want, when somebody clicks on the button, it takes them anywhere. We just want to have that feature there for now. So we are going to write just field, and then I'm going to write Facebook. So most places, when you go to sign up, it tells you, do you want to log in with your email, or I mean with Google or something like that. So in between now this anchor tag, I need to make sure that I add the word login with Facebook, and I add also this Facebook icon. So yesterday we said if you want to add the Facebook icon, you make sure you go to where it's written box icons. That is what we are using. There's so many types of platforms that offer icons. So you're not restricted to using what I am using here, but I'm just going to show you how to use this one. And how you use this one is practically how you're going to use all the others. So I am just going now to type Facebook. And I'm going to find it here. So I can choose whichever that I want. Do I want the circle? Do I want just the name Facebook and so forth? So let us see. So remember, we click on the one that is added font. The reason why we use the one that is added font is because that is when you come here to usage at the top, we selected that option yesterday. So there are multiple options to make you be able to use these icons. You can install, and to install, this is how you go about it. You can add it as, so there are two options when you want to add the icon. You can either add it as what they call a web component, or as a font. So I did not go the web component route just because it felt like it was a little bit a lot of stuff that is happening. So I just quickly went to the usage as a font. So we added this link. Remember, it was very, very long. So we added it to the head option so that we can be able to use it, because this is in some way, it's like, as you can see, to load our CSS. So they have created the icons using CSS. So that's why you have to link to it. And then now we can go ahead and use whatever we want. Actually, they have that example here. So they have, but they're using the Facebook square. So if I come back now, because I have already imported this, to know that I have imported this, we added it here. Here it is. So it's a little bit longer. There it is with the rel and all that. So after that, now I can be able to use it anytime that I want. And right now I want to use it with the Facebook icon. So I'll come here to the, I'll come back to box icons, and I will just go back. So inside box icons, you search for Facebook. So I can just send this link again, but it's also in the description. Actually, it's already in the description. So when you click in the description, you will easily find it. So I can choose whichever I want to use. Do I want to use this icon as a full circle? I think I'll go with that one. And I say, rather than using it as a web component, I will choose I want to use it as a font. So, and then I will click on it. It will automatically copy. And then I'll come back to my code and I will just paste it there in between. So now I have been able to add it. The next thing that I will do is, oh, actually, let me just pick the first one. Let me pick the first one instead, the one that doesn't have anything, so that it doesn't come with that color, because we want to change that color. So I'll come back here. So I've picked the one that is just written F and then the word Facebook, so that now I can style it. So I'll come back here. And then now I can add a class name to it and just write Facebook icon. Yeah. And then I will come here and then I will add a span. Remember how we talked about span being able to help us to put elements specifically in one line, or to even style elements that we want them to be together. So here I can write login with Google. It's not the only one you can use, but it is easier to use. And instantly, if any developer sees your work, they know what you are trying to do. So log in with Google. So let me now come back to my style. And then I think we can continue. We do also the one for Google. We just add it at once and then we go and style at once as well. So we do div class and then say media options. I'll just give them the same class because I want them to have some similar stylings. Ahref. So remember, Ahref is used to add a link. So because I don't want to take it anywhere, I'll just click, I'll put the word hashtag and then I can say class to be now filled. Now this one will be Google. So the first one, I'll just give it a similar class. I've written outside the quotation marks. Always make sure you're writing inside the quotation marks. So they should both have the class field, and then the distinction is that this is for Google. Then I can close it. Oops. Yeah, so I can close it here. And then I can now add an image. And then I can, so the reason why I am using an image for this example is because if I come to icons and I type Google, let's see the options it will give us. Just remove this. These are the options that I get, but we know the Google icon does not look like this. We can actually, by the way, use them. It's not a must we go the other route, or we can go to our website, because Google normally is very colorful and all that. So we can use this as an opportunity to learn how to add an image. So we can come here and say Google icon. Sorry. Wait. This is another platform for adding, but I don't want us to be confused. So we can just find an icon. So we can use this one. Let me see if it is usable. So it is. This is pretty much okay. The first thing I will do is I will right click on the image like so and click copy image address, and then I will go to a new tab and type remove background. and it will give me this result. So I'll just pick the one written remove.bg or bg remove to remove bg, and then I'll see the option of URL here. I'll click on that and I will paste that, and then when I click OK, it will remove the background. So it just makes sure that this is a clean background, and then now I can download. So once I download, I'll come to my files. So I will most probably find it in downloads, and I will move it to desktop because desktop is where my project is. So here it is. The first thing I will do is when I am here, I will right click again and go to where it's written rename, so that I change the name to something simple. So I can write Google, and then I will move it inside my, so I'm just dragging it and I put it inside that folder that has my project. So now if I come to my, let me just close those since we are not using them. If I come to my Visual Studio, I come here, I'll see the image google.png has been added. So that is my image source. So whenever you're adding an image in HTML, you write img src, and then we write now the name of our image. So sometimes some people normally create a new file, a folder, and write its image so that they can put all the images, because sometimes your website might have many images and you want them to be in one place. So that is something you can do. Right now it's only one image, so you can just leave it as so. So I just write google.png. So you make sure you write it exactly as it shows here. If yours comes written Google, if you write the name Google with a capital G, make sure you write the SRC to reference that. If it has an extension, the extension is whatever is after the dot. Make sure you don't delete that, by the way, when you're renaming. So it will be, if yours is .gpg, make sure you download it as so. So yeah, like that. So I'll add an alt text. So an alt text, also known as an alternative text, allows us to be able to add additional text. So the text that describes what the image is about, and this text is mostly useful in screen readers, specifically people who use your website and they are visually impaired. You want them to know at the moment that there is an image and this is what the image is about. So here I can write, this is a Google logo or icon image. And then the next thing I can come about and now add the class. I can say the class for this to be Google IMG. So this now adds our image, okay, and we have given it a class. So the next thing I am going to do is I am going to add now the span, and I'm going to say login with Google. So yeah, so now we have those two. Maurice, you're saying that you're still not able to see your images. Kindly copy the code. So for example, let me just go to my style.css. Go to your style.css where you're feeling that you're trying to add an image and it's not working. Just highlight it using your mouse and then right click and copy it and paste it in the chat section so that I can correct you before the session ends. So we have been able to add those two HTML structures. We have added the structure for the login with Google button and the login with, this should be Facebook, not Google. The first one should be Facebook. Sorry for that. So if I come here now and I refresh, let me see how they're going to look like. So as you can see, it is looking how it wants to look like. So we need to make sure that we style them. So let us go ahead and do that. So that is where styling using CSS in this case comes in. So we are styling media options. So the first thing is we style the this anchor tag that contains everything. So what I'm going to come and do is I'm going to come and say dot media options. So it's written media option dash options or hyphen options. So make sure if you write it here, media options, you copy it exactly as that, even with the S. So we want that anchor tag inside the media options. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to give it a display flex. What display flex means is you're putting it inside a container that is flexible. It is flexible to how you're going to and also allows us to organize the content. So it flex is really used a lot in putting stuff inside a container. So I know sometimes when we put like food stuff in the container in the kitchen, the container is not, it cannot increase in size or decrease in size based on what you put inside the container. But however, when you say flex, it allows us to be able to increase the size of the container and decrease it based on what is inside it. So I'll say align content or align items to be center. So we want everything to be aligned to the center, and then justify content to be center. So when we say align items to be center, we mean we want our, let me see if it makes a difference so that I can show you. Okay, I will show you once it looks better so that we are able to see how the alignment is looking like, especially once we reduce the size of this Google image so that we are able to see what has happened with the Facebook, because the Facebook has aligned already to the center. Even the Google, it's only that the image is too big. We have not yet adjusted the sizes. So the other thing I'm going to do is I am going to come to where my Facebook icon is. So inside the field, the anchor tag with the Facebook name, I'm going to focus on this Facebook icon and also edit it accordingly. So because we cannot see it because of this Google image, let me first start by resizing the image of Google so that we can be able at least to see what is happening. So to resize the Google image, we gave it a class of Google image. So I'll just come and just style it first. Go to my CSS dot Google image. So because the class name is Google dash img or hyphen, so that is why I am adding it, and I'll say the height to be 20px and the width to be 20px. I'm also going to add something we call okay, let me first leave it there so that we just wanted to reduce so that everything, we can see everything being aligned here. So I'll come back here now. So now I want to continue with the Facebook part, and then we'll move down to the Instagram part. So I mean to the Google part. So Maurice, can you copy paste like the whole, like here? What are you styling? Can you copy paste that? Just copy paste all of it. Are you styling something in particular? Can I see so that I make sure? So I'll go back to now my Google, so my Facebook, I mean. So what I want to do with the Facebook up to that point is I want to tamper with the color inside this Facebook icon. How it's looking like this inside the Facebook icon itself. So I'll come here and I say the anchor tag. Yeah. So I'll come here and say a.facebook. So that means the anchor tag that has a class of Facebook. So the anchor tag that has a class of Facebook, which is this one, I want you to go ahead and add a color and give it to be white. Give it white. And then the next thing is add a background color. Background color. And ensure that it is blue. So I'll just put a particular shade of blue. Yep. So let us see how it's looking like so far. Yes, so you can see now we have the color of the text being white and this being black, blue. That's blue. That's almost similar with how Facebook looks like. Let us continue. So the next thing is we are going to be styling this icon, this Facebook icon. So I'm going to come back here and I will say .facebook, and then I write .facebook icon. I did not write the name like that. I wrote the name as, so if I look at Facebook icon, I wrote it like this. So that is what I want to style now. So I'm going to give it a height. I'm going to say the height to be 28px. I'm going to give it a width of 28px as well. And I'm going to give it a color. Sorry, not columns, but color. And the color should also be almost similar to what we had there slightly before. Not even almost similar. It should be that color. And then I'm going to give it a font size. So remember, I'm editing the Facebook icon. So a font size of 20px. And I'm going to say border radius to be 50%. So remember, border radius is what, let us look at how it's looking like up to that point. So it's just what is going to allow us to have that Facebook icon here. That is the goal, so that it looks something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do, the reason why I can't see it is because I need to change the background color. So let me do that here so that we can see what is happening. So there it is, but you can see it's not aligned to the center and all that. So let us go ahead and make sure it's positioned well. So to do that, the first thing I'll do is I'll add a display, and I'll say the display to be flex. So we are back to that flex thing because it really allows us to be able to align our elements well. So I'll say align items to the center. Let us see how it will look like now. So you can see it is now at the center, but it's at the center vertically, not horizontally. So to make it aligned horizontally, that is where we introduced justify content to be center. So if you look at it now, if I refresh, you see now it's aligned both to the center horizontally and to the center vertically. That is because of aligned display it's only when you have display flex you can be able to add those justify element, content and align items, which allows us to position our elements accordingly. Yeah, that is what we are going to do up to that point with regards to the Facebook icon. So I will still continue bado hatujamaliza, so as we are not yet finished for those who don't know in Swahili. So I'm going to do .facebook icon, and then I'm also going to edit the image, because as you can see the image for the Google, I can just write Google image, because that's what the class I gave them. So I'm just going to style them together. Currently, this Facebook icon is not really positioned well. We want it to be somewhere here, and yeah, so let us make that possible. So we come back to position. So as you can see, position is something that is really talks about. I think maybe I will try and do a video just purely on CSS positioning, so that we make sure that you guys fully understand positioning, because it is something that really helps us to organize information or stuff on our website. So I'd say top to be 50%, left to be 15px. We don't want it to go away too much. Let us look at it up to that point. So you can see it's now aligning to the center, but we want it to be in the middle. So I'll come here and I'll say transform, and also I'll talk about transform in that video, on another video. So I'll say translate y to be negative 50%. So what this does is it allows us now to position it to the middle vertically, and now we have that looking pretty and good. So I hope you are also able to accomplish that from your end when you do it. So if in case you face a problem, you just let me know. So Maurice, I can see you have written background color black. So maybe it might be the element, maybe the class name. Check maybe if you have written the class name properly. You can confirm what you're trying to put in black, and I confirm the class name you should use. So let us now look at the Google part in the last leg of this session. You can see we have 20 minutes left. So let us see if we can now do the Google part. Not even we can do. Let us go ahead and do the Google part. So the Google, we have edited the Google image. We had to start there so that everything can look as we expect. So sorry, I'm trying to find my mouse. Yeah, there it is. So let us continue. So the next thing is now editing where the anchor tag with the Google image, so that it has a background color as well. So I'm just going to come here and I'll say, let us look at the final. So actually the Google image does not need much. It just needs a border. So I'm going to come here and I will say a dot Google. So the reason why I am doing a dot Google is because it's, first of all, it's the anchor tag, and this anchor tag has a class name of Google. So that is why I am doing that. And then I will say border to be 1px solid. Yep, like that. Let me add the last one. So there should be 6. Okay, so that just adds a border. So let us look at how it's looking like. Yeah. So the other thing is the image seems a little bit smaller. But anyway, we will see if we can increase it a little bit. For me, I feel like it's more, but if you don't, I'll see. So the next thing is I want to tamper with how you see how it's written here, login with Google. I also want to tamper with this text. You see, it's just blue. The default, by the way, whenever you add a link, the default color of that image will always be blue. So I'll come back here and I will say the span class inside the class Google. That is where we want to tamper. I have to edit, so we can write the anchor tag with the class of Google. Go to the span class that is inside of it, and I want you to put a font weight of 500, and we also want an opacity. So opacity is just used to look at the transparency. Actually, I'll show you a good demonstration of that. And let us change the color as well. What am I writing? E0, E0, the one we have been doing. Yeah, so if we look at it now, if I refresh, so there is still this underlines in both our login with Google and login with Facebook. Let us go and remove them because both of them are inside a class known as media options. I can come here to where we had written media options. Where is it? Here, and I can say media options A. This is actually perfect. Text decoration to be none. So the reason why I'm saying this is perfect is because it's the anchor tag is what automatically adds that underline. So you can even go ahead and even style the span. We have, I don't know if we have a span class where we have styled both of them rather than individually. No, we have individually. Let us see how it will look like now. So automatically it has removed that. Let me just increase the image of this, or let me go to where, but I think we can increase a little bit. 25, 25. Yeah, that's not too bad. We can leave it at that. So any question up to that point? Anyone with a question up to that point or a repeat? So as you guys are, maybe in case you're typing the question, let me show you how opacity looks like in different screens or how it actually works. So opacity. W3 Schools has a good opacity in CSS. W3 Schools as a good image. Yeah, so it normally shows, so you can see the transparency between the different values. So the values that are normally taken by opacity is between 0.0 and to 1.0. So when you have 0.6, it's slightly there in the middle. So when it's 0.2, so you can hardly see. 0.5 kindly in the middle, and then 1, the image becomes clear. So this is mostly used especially when you want just the image not to completely stand out. You just want it to be slightly opaque. That is how you go ahead and use it. Any question? Any question? So Maurice, I can still see you're saying yours is disturbing you, the adding the background color on the body. Let me check it out. I think we have a few minutes. Sorry. I think with a few minutes we can see if we can be able to just add the registration form. It's very simple because now we have all the CSS code. So we are just the CSS styling. It's going to be exactly the same as what we have for the registration form. So all we need to do is just add the registration form structure. So this is how I wrote it, Maurice. So I wrote body, curly brackets. This is how I've added my background color. So just see if maybe there's something you have missed out. So write body, curly brackets, and close it, and then write it like that. Yeah, and make sure in your HTML you actually do have a body tag, and that should be compulsory. You should not miss a body tag, because that is what encloses what the users or the visitors of our website see. So these few last minutes, I'd want to add now the sign up form. Going to be very straightforward on how we should do it. The good thing is now we don't need to do CSS, like I have said, because we have already done it. So it's just going to be the same. So that is why it's good to use class names and make sure that you're keen on which elements will need to have the same color. So let me see. Yeah. Form login. So form login ends in that div. So I'll come here. So I have highlighted it. When you highlight it, if you highlight it like this, you will just see, it will show you, you can see there is this line, and you can see it shows me, oh, this is the closing tag of this opening. So that is how I make sure that I am in the right place. And you can see this is form login. So I'm not going to create a new one for form sign up. So here, so I'm going to now say div class form sign up, and then we say div class content, form content, form content. You don't think you can access what? So to remember, you have to write this code yourself. So what I am doing, you have to write it. So in case you're writing, I think you can write, I don't know, I'm not sure. Go to Google Chrome. I'm not sure VS Code .dev will open from there. So you can try and see if it will actually open from there. So here is the link. So you don't even need to have Visual Studio installed on your machine. There's the link. So see if you can access it from there. In case this is the first class, just you can maybe wait till after the class, and then you can watch the 2 other videos that we have done, so that you can just know what is happening. And you can, so right now you can just watch to understand the concepts. So we have written form content, and now we are going to add a header, and it's going to be sign up. So, and then now I am going to say form action, and not just going to just write the form. So see, it's very, very similar to what we had here. So we had form content, and then the header, login, and then, so this is why this allows us to be able to share, because anywhere we don't need to change, we don't change. We have the class name form. Here we have written login. There we wrote sign up. Here we have written form content. So we have also written form content. So this allows us to be able to share CSS styling automatically. So, so let us do div, and then I write a class, and now it's going to be extremely similar also to what we have at the top of our code for the one that we did for the login. So field, and then input field, and then we are now going to write input type to be email, and then we're going to write a placeholder to be email. So you can even write add your email or something. So placeholder is what the user sees before they start typing. It just helps them to know what to type. And then this is going to be input. Yeah. So very, very similar to what we had here. Email field, input type email, placeholder email, class email. So very similar. So if we want, we can actually even go ahead and just copy what we have written for the password. I'll just change a few things. Scroll down and add it. So the one thing I'm going to change is because this is the first time the user is typing. When somebody is signing up, that's the first time they're creating a password. So here I can write create password. And yeah, nothing else will change there. And then I will just, sorry, my mouse keeps disappearing from my screen to my other screen. Oh my god, I hate it. So we have now for the password. So I will do the same. I'll copy again, and now this one, now this feature will be for confirm password. Yeah, and I won't change anything else. And I'll now come and add almost the same thing, the same information we have for the login, this field button and all that. Even I can copy, and then I will just scroll down and I can write sign up. Yep. And then now I can do for very, very similar, but now it's gonna be, do you already have an account? If so, just to log in. So I'm going to write div class form link, and then I'm going to write span already have an account, and then a href hashtag, and then we're going to write class to be link login link. Then I'm just going to write login. So this allows us to be able to have that login link. The other thing, very, very similar. I don't even need to type it, is the one for the line. Remember the line that we added that had the add or login with Facebook or password or Google. So we can do the same thing. I'll just copy that, including also the div line. Okay, let me start from the bottom, from the top. I'll come here to the line div, copy that. In case you don't know, maybe let's, to reduce confusion, I'll start with the div line. Scroll down and add it. Go to the new line and now add the ones for sign up with Google or Facebook. Login with Facebook, and this one login with Google. Yeah, so guess what? We are done with also the sign up form. We are done with the sign up form as well. Um, yeah, so let us look at it. I know what might just be a little bit different. Let me refresh. There it is. There it is. The only thing you might notice is that you no longer can see the login form. It's now written sign up, because how we wrote our CSS, it should just, it's like they are on top of each other. It is there, it's just that it's on top of each other. You don't want somebody to see both the login and the sign up form at the same time. You want them to see one after the other. So we will now add a functionality that if somebody clicks login, it actually takes them to the login form. And we will do that when tomorrow we start with JavaScript. So JavaScript is what adds interactivity. When we talk about interactivity, is when somebody clicks that button for login, you actually want it to take them to the login part. When they click the button sign up, you want something to actually happen. So those are some of the things that we will be able to do from tomorrow. Yeah, so see you tomorrow, same time at 11 up to 1. So take care as we tomorrow as we finalize on this project on JavaScript. So yeah, so bye bye. See you on the next one.